Greetings, YouTube. So I've been processing some things for a while now, and I've finally come to a point where I think I've got a pretty good grasp on what I want to say about them. And that's partly thanks to my therapist, partly thanks to the hard work I've done, and thanks to the fact that I now have serotonin in my brains. Yay for serotonin. I am currently taking 75 milligrams of serotonin twice a day. And that seems to have been the sweet spot. That seems to be where I'm really comfortable. I'm feeling really good there. And it's really helping me get a grasp on things and, act better yet, letting go of things. Like when I get those little defensive scripts popping up in my head because, self-critique and things like that, they sound so damn hollow now. They just don't have teeth. They can't hold on to me. It's awesome. And one of the things that I've been dealing with and get processing has led to me to have an increasing dislike of capitalism and an increasing understanding of the disrespect I am shown on a professional level every day. Now, what do I mean by that? I work third shift, which is 2300 to 0700, so 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. I give you both methods there because I know that some people get really confused with the AM/PM thing. Lots of people in the world use a strict military time standard. Whenever I write information on something at work, I use military code, military time, just because to be absolute, clarification. This has happened. It happened at 2300 kind of thing. And so when I come in, I am experiencing the aftermath of those that just left. And what is not at work at 2300 hours are any bosses. There's no bosses doing tours, doing audits, nothing. And the people that are exiting the building at 2300 hours know this. And they know that they can leave the area in any way they want to. And they know that third shift has to pick up the slack, because if we don't, first shift will complain, and bosses listen to first shift like that. I could be on fire and I wouldn't get any attention. First shift even complains about there being a stiff breeze. Action. It's just the nature of the world working in industry, not just mine, but industry in general. There's this philosophy that if you work first shift, you work first shift because you're the best, because that's the preferred shift. And yet I've been offered the chance to work first shift multiple times over the last 21 plus years, and I've turned them down every time because I don't want to work it. I like third shift. Well, I used to like it a lot more than I do now, because now my week starts on a Monday night and goes to Saturday morning, so I don't get to spend Friday night with my wife ever again until I retire. Not happy about that. And so because of the fact that the exiting shift at 2300 hours can leave the place any way they want to, we are stuck holding the bag. And since I'm the lead in my cell, I am stuck holding a really big bag. So I spend a lot of time in the first hour of the day, sometimes as much as 40 friggin' minutes, cleaning up the mess left for me by other people. Now, there's one guy in the previous shift, and he's not bad. He at least tries, so I cut him some slack. But the other ones, I don't talk to them anymore. Why? Because they may want to be friendly, and they do want to do, hi, how you doing kind of thing, but their actions are actions of someone who has no respect for me. Because if you respected me, you would not leave your work area the way you leave your work area every single day. That's not hyperbole. That is not an exaggeration. That is my reality. In fact, I came into work one day, and I was coming in after one of the first shift dudes, because no, it didn't run on the second shift that particular weekend. And he had actually left the lube jugs on the presses full. They were full of lube. And it struck me as so incredibly uncommon, something that I have never experienced before, I thanked him, hoping that I would reinforce that and maybe he'll do it again someday. Because I just don't find that on my shift. The lube buckets are empty. There won't be fabric. There won't be plastic boxes, we call it dunnage, for parts. There won't be extra rubber. There won't be extra metal. Or if there is metal, there'll be an empty carriage, a wagon they didn't get rid of. Or sometimes they're just an empty wagon and they didn't get me any wagons of new inserts. So I have to go move that out and bring a new one in. And again, a new wagon's 350 friggin' pounds. I don't really want to have to push that from one end of the factory to the other. And that is also not hyperbole. The two places where these things are kept, where the inserts are, where the inserts need to be, are the two furthest away you can get from each other. And these are three interconnected buildings, three large interconnected buildings. And the only way to move things is to push them. So I've been wrestling with the disrespect shown to me by capitalism and the disrespect shown to me by my coworkers. And I've been wrestling with this for a long time. And now I've come to some conclusions. I don't have to accept the disrespect. It is not my due. I do not deserve it. It is not something I've done. It is not something I have to accept. But what I do have to accept is that I can't change it. It isn't going to change. Capitalism isn't going to start being ethical and moral. Isn't going to start treating the workers the way they should be treated, even though it is the 99 that earn the wealth of the world and the 1% who are the parasites. And my coworkers aren't going to start being ethical. And I know I can't get them to change. I've been trying for over a decade. It hasn't worked. I've complained to bosses about it more than once. More than one boss. Didn't do any good. I've confronted them individually. Didn't do any good. I've talked to their lead operator. Didn't do any good. None of it does. So I just have to accept I cannot change the situation at hand. All I do is I fix the problem. I write down my downtime. And if anybody wants to know, why do you have so much downtime? I will tell them. I have so much downtime because I'm cleaning up after somebody else's mess. If everyone did their job, I wouldn't have that much downtime. It's really that simple. But it's not going to happen. And that conundrum, that dichotomy isn't easy for me to reconcile. I don't have to accept the disrespect of capitalism or my coworkers. I do have to accept the fact that I can't change it. And I'm still working on that part. But, as G.I. Joe said, knowing is half the problem.